and I went to bed fairly tipsy, but buzzing. And I think that was probably, because of maybe these things are getting stronger during the lockdown, but I think me drinking alcohol and not being asleep, that my psychic defenses were open to this thing. And that's the way I would describe what it looked like: an earwig, about 3 feet long, that made electronic clicking noises. It extended its proboscis, or its tongue, out down my throat to suffocate me and try to get my heart. And last night was a pretty bad experience. It was the worst sort of spiritual attack I had since late 2018, when that entity, that group down in Cork, had been playing games with me. And although that was a slow, pernicious thing, this is. I mean, I've told you the story when I was 17. That there was a black monkey appeared in my bedroom and jumped on my back. Well, something very similar happened last night, and completely out of the blue. And I thought I was dying at one point. Now, I went to bed very late, but I don't know if it's the sleep cycles of the whole Rona, the ping pong lockdown, or it's making these entities stronger, because I do occasionally have manifestations, and I do occasionally come across these forces, but they've always been very, very weak. They're very weak things. They're not. They wouldn't have. This thing was powerful, and it was pure malicious in intent. It was there to kill me, and I was halfway, as it does, you're halfway between wake and sleep, and you enter when your psychic defense is down. And most people have these experiences thinking they're dreams, that they think they're a dream that's happening, and they're not. They're not dreams. You're in the terminator between waking and sleeping, and that's the point where you're. And it was after 3 a.m. too, and this is the point where the veil, or the separation, the demarcation line between. And so I don't know what time it was. It must have been after 4, and literally a hole opened right in front of my eyes. A hole opened up. And this thing, what I could describe it looking like, was an earwig. An earwig landed on my chest, and it was about the length from my kneecaps to my neck. So, what's that, 3 feet? And it landed with a thud, and it smelt of the most foul smell you could ever imagine. It was like, I don't know, have you ever been in Ireland? We have ditches, or also if you ever have a stagnant pool where everything dies, it doesn't smell of shit. It smells of rotten bacteria, and when you have that black mud in a ditch when the ditch isn't moving, and everything that's rotten, it smelled of that. And it made a noise that sounded like a machine. Again, it had that. It sounded like the noise that it made was an electronic, almost like static noise it made. And within a split second, it had extended this proboscis out from its head, and it had gone right down into my mouth, down my throat, and right down to where my heart was. And it was trying to stop my heart with this kind of electrical activity from its tongue. Now, you could say, okay, it was a dream, but this, you don't have smells and dreams. It's as clear as this, me talking to you. And I was gagging and gagging, and all I could hear was that constant electronic noise. So I used my teeth and I bit down on it, on its tongue or its proboscis or whatever it was, and it screamed and withdrew it really quickly. And then I was starting to scream at it. The electronic noise that it made kept getting louder and louder. And then the next thing I knew, it was just gone.